Right. Good evening, everyone. Once again, you're welcome to the training for tonight. We are going to be talking about the SOC analyst role tonight. And yeah, here with you is myself, Patricia, Emmanuel, and I just want to give like an overview so we can understand the role of the Security Operations Center analyst, which is a role that is typically the entry level in the way into the cyber security profession. And tonight, we are going to be looking at the overview of the SOC analyst role, and we'll touch on the importance of SOC analysts. Who are they? What do they do? What is their relevance? And of course, to introduce you to the SOC team, who you usually find as a member of the SOC team. And we'll also talk about setting up for success. By that, what is required to succeed in the team? What do you need to know? Talk about what they do, of course, how they work on the alerts. They had the triage session that they have, investigating alerts. Of course, you have to work like a detective. And we'll look into the core skills. Some of these, I would say, are like your, would I say meta skills, or some soft skills are coming out of your meta skills, when you know when to escalate and when you work, how to work with people, and how to use threat intelligence to protect the network, documenting, which is very important, reporting for future reference, and how you wrap up the day and your handoffs, and how you want to progress from being a SOC analyst and grow into other roles. Okay, so I will quickly go into this. Tonight, we are just stepping into the shoes of a SOC analyst. In this role, what comes to mind to you? I just want to understand and know my audience here. What comes to mind to you when you hear about this role, this SOC analyst? If you want to put a description in the chat, please do. If you want to unmute and speak, kindly unmute and speak. What comes to mind? What comes to mind? Or maybe you've probably had a read about what a SOC analyst does, and you just want to share here. Please kindly unmute or put something in the chat. What comes to mind? Who are they? Who is a SOC analyst? What do they do? Anyone? Oh, thank you, Adaise.
SOC analysts, they fight cyber attack. They are the first people
Good.
to fight against cyber attack.
Yeah, I like the word first. The first line, front line, first line. Yeah. First front line. They are the front line of an organization's cybersecurity. Thank you for that. Does anyone else have any other description to add about the SOC analyst? Anyone? Okay, I will move on. So as a SOC analyst, you are in the front line of an organization's cybersecurity team. Because you are actively monitoring and responding to threats. That is your role. You are actively monitoring and responding to threats. And The SOC is sometimes called the nerve center. You know, when I don't know how many of us did biology then. You know, we have the central nervous system when they were teaching us the characteristics of human beings. So they are the nerve center of the organization's cybersecurity team, because the SOC, the Security Operations Center itself, is where we detect, analyze, and respond to cyber threats. Any threat that happens within the organization, the first place where the active monitoring and response starts responding, or the response process starts from, is the SOC, is the Security Operations Center. And the job of a SOC analyst, as a SOC analyst, now I'm referring to you as SOC analysts as well, your job is to make the role, your job is to make the role enjoyable. Yeah, because you have to enjoy what you're doing. And tonight, I would just want to ask that you keep your heart and mind open, you know, so that you can understand. So the flow of this training tonight is going to go through like a day in the life of a SOC analyst, like on a daily basis. Of course, there are days where, let me, so that you can see my face. So there are some days where there are days where it is quiet, where you are just doing your BAU stuff. And there are some days where an incident has happened and you've got to be on top of it. Okay? So, and according to the common body of knowledge, 𝐖𝐈𝐓𝐇, ISC2, and the likes, the SOC analysts play a vital role in maintaining security. In maintaining security, cybersecurity, and also ensuring compliance standards. So they implement framework like the NIST, the ISO 27001. They implement this framework continuously by identifying and mitigating threats. Mitigating threats so that all regulatory and business requirements that come up in organizations are also put in consideration by the security team to ensure that the organization is actually in compliance to what is required. The business wants to achieve their goal. Of course, the business they want to create products, they want to service or organization, they want to service clients. But of course, the business requirements must also align with security standards. Otherwise, if something happens to one, if there's a security incident which could have been mitigated, if such incident happens to an organization and the organization loses their reputation, they lose clients, they lose money, or they even face fines, you know, regulatory fines, you know, it's not palatable to any business owner at all. Of course, the security guys want to satisfy the business, and the business also want to ensure that they're in compliance. So let's just keep this in mind as we go through this teaching tonight. So thank you for answering, Adaeze, for your input to a day in the life of a SOC analyst. So now, the SOC analyst roles. What sort of roles would you find in the security center? You'll find SOC analysts level 1, 2, and 3. Then you have SOC manager, and these roles are in their they have their own responsibility level, or the kind of access or permissions for each role, who does what and who escalates to who. We have the incident responders who respond to incident. They guide the team in the process if an incident happens. And we have threat hunters. You usually find all this role in the security operations center. And of course, we have the level 1. So the SOC analysts, the level 1 SOC analysts, they are primarily responsible, as I wrote here, they do the initial alert triage and they monitor. Okay, but of course, on this program, you will do more than all of this. Our curriculum covers most of what you find within level 1, 2, and 3. So keep your mind at rest. So you're primarily responsible for alert monitoring as a SOC level 1 analyst, and the triage. Then whenever you identify suspicious activity on the scene, we'll talk about the scene later, you pass potential incident to higher levels, because as a SOC level 1 analyst, there are some potential incidents that you will be able to look into, but there are some that you would have to pass on to the higher level, and everything is based on the experience and your skills at the point of entry. Then this level 2 SOC analysts investigates incidents. They go to the root cause. They want to find out why this phishing incident that this frontline level 1 SOC analyst has reported. Now he has followed the procedure, escalated to level 2. Now they need to analyze the incident and go down to the low level to identify the root cause of that incident. And when they do that, they communicate to level 1 to give level 1 the guidance of what they need to do next. They communicate to the level 3 analysts who would most of the time would be more technical. All right. So they handle advanced analysis, they handle threat intelligence, and they work to improve the detection capabilities. So these guys in level 2 have done a lot of analysis, and they've extracted the root cause. And by the time they're passing to level 3, this information that level 2 guys have handed over to the level 3 SOC analyst makes it really helpful to the level 3 SOC analyst to be able to improve detection capabilities. So an example is that, okay, a phishing incident has happened. Somebody clicked on a staff in the organization clicked on an email, and for some reason, with all the firewall rules and the detection monitoring systems that they've put in place, that sort of phishing email shouldn't have been able to come through. You understand? It shouldn't have been able to cause any incident. They should probably have only received an alert that has happened. But unfortunately, it has gone beyond all the all the firewalls, beyond all the fortifying processes that they've put in place, just to keep the English simple. So they work on the information that they've received from level 2, and they work hard to improve the ability of their processes or of their detection systems to do more or to do better in detecting incidents. All right. So this hierarchy helps to ensure that the right people respond at the right time. Okay. And this is in line with the best practices outlined by ISC 2. So if I ask a question now, based on what I've explained, what skills do you think are essential for each level of a SOC analyst? Let's look at it from the level 1 guy who is the frontline person. What skill do you think are essential for a SOC analyst, each level? Anyone? Does anyone want to give that a trial?
I would say they are all important, but I would say level 1, because level 1 like gives alert.
Okay.
If not for the alert, I think things would really go bad before the level 2, 3 would come in. So they give alert.
Okay. Thank you. Anything for level 2? Level 2?
You mean level 2?
Yeah. What skill do you think a level 2 should have? So I will just try to remind us. The level 2 analyst investigates the incidents and conduct root cause
They go down
analysis.
to
So
the
what
root.
skill? Yeah. What skill do you think they should have? That is essential for a level 2 analyst. Okay.
Analyzing incidents.
Come on, guys. I've not talked about anything technical here. I think I've only been speaking pure English.
This should be how to analyze the incidents up to the root level.
Okay. So I'll take that as an investigative skill.
Okay.
Yeah. And level 3, what do you think? What skill is essential?
Level 3.
The level 3 guys they do advanced analysis, and they work on ensuring that they are able to strengthen their processes they're able to strengthen their processes for better detection capabilities. But they do advanced analysis. Do we have people in this class? Or okay, oh right, okay, I can see somebody said okay, this is these responses are there for since 9:09. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. First of all, I'll respond just so that I'm able to share my view and my experience. The level 1 SOC analyst, of course, you need the technical experience, at least for you to be able to monitor. Because whatever it is you're monitoring, don't forget that the monitoring is happening within a tool. You understand? You are looking at a monitoring tool, a security monitoring tool. So you need to be able to understand what and interpret what you can see. For example, you're looking at the pattern of let's say you're looking at log patterns, of course, and everything looks like it's going well. But when you got to a particular maybe you are checking between a particular time and the other time, you can see a spike in the patterns in a particular area. That should raise your curiosity. So you now start to go deeper into checking, oh, this particular spike, what is causing it? Okay, so those are the little, you need that technical ability. Then the level 2 guy, you need to have an investigative skill. You must be able to investigate like a detective. So your investigation, of course, we know how detectives work. They're looking for clues. You find a clue here, you check, you extract the information from that clue that you found, and then you go into another, you go to where that clue is leading you to, and then you start to go deeper and deeper. It's like you are peeling onions, okay? You found from the, you open it up, you open it up. So you need to have a detective skill. And the level 3 guys, you must also have the threat intelligence skill. What do I mean by that? Whatever the attacker has used to be able to get into the organization, they've probably explored a weakness in the organization system. And if that point of entry is still open, it is a threat to the organization. So these guys are intelligent enough to try to work on it, on how to make sure that this threat is removed or mitigated. Okay, so there'll be a lot of buzzwords that you'll be hearing along the line as we go, but please just pay attention. And I really want this class to be interactive, because whatever we're talking about or discussing here, if you participate and engage, you will get to understand a lot of things more. Thank you. So, moving on. So, when we look into the different types of SOC analyst tools, of course, all this monitoring and investigation, there are tools that are used. So the tools I've listed here are not, all the tools they are not limited to these tools. For example, we have open source intelligence tools. There are tools out there which we are going to show you on this platform, where you can investigate a particular IP. For example, we talked about the networking last on Saturday, all right? And we talked about IP addresses. So for example, a SOC level 1 analyst has identified that spike that I described. He has traced it back to an IP address that is coming from a particular IP. And what does he do with that? He quickly does an investigation. He takes that IP address, puts it into a tool like is it VirusTotal or 𝐸_VOID, and he searches, he dumps it in there and looks through the info on that tool and to search for any information about the IP address. Because of course, you could be in the UK and then that IP address, you've traced it back to Cambodia. You understand? That would raise a flag, or you've traced it back to Russia. You understand? So there are tools like that. And of course, the core tools that are used daily, you have the SIEM, you have the EDRs, you have different threat intelligence platform, and you would have a ticketing system. So the ticketing system is that system that just helps the SOC analyst, the Security Operations Center, to manage all sorts of incidents that are logged, or raised by the SOC team. And the ticketing system also helps them to track what stage of investigation or status is, what priority level has been assigned to a ticket. I don't know if anyone has worked in any role where you've used a ticketing system. And of course, you know that there are some basic things that would ideally be there. You don't need to work in a SOC center as a SOC analyst to know about a ticketing system. It's just that the ticketing system is now used in this situation within a SOC team. And usually the first task of the day, we all know that hackers will not tell you that, hello, we are attacking you at 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. on Monday morning, so get ready for us. Some hackers would have started their hacking process. In fact, months gathering information through different using through different malwares or worms or threats that they can introduce into the or social engineering attacks that they would use to introduce malicious softwares into your organization. So the first day of the task, most of the time is like a shift role for a SOC level 1 analyst, for example. So you have to review the critical alerts from the previous shift. What that means is that the guy that did the shift before you has documented what you would necessarily call a handover, document or report, so that you can pick up from there. So it has to be a continuous process, and everyone is carried along. So as a SOC analyst, the tools that you will use, they are your best friends. Okay, and I will tell you that most of the tools, there is not rocket science. They are easy to use. You just need to pay great attention to detail. And each tool serves a unique purpose in monitoring, investigating, and responding to threats. And the same tool, for example, this is called the Security Information and Event Management, SIEM. We call it SIEM. I've heard people call it SIEM, but I call it SIEM anyway. So what the SIEM does is to collect logs and provide real-time analysis of security alerts, because on the SIEM, there are different types of alerts that can be set, like alert rules that can be set during the configuration, especially based on there are some basic rules that will be set. Say, for example, you can set a rule to say that to say, okay, if login process, if somebody has tried to log in for more than 3 times, display this message or show this status. You understand? But sometimes it could be that somebody went on holiday and they've logged in more than 3 times. You understand? You could say, okay, that one is not a high priority, because you've traced that kind of ticket to see that this person belongs to the organization. And you can check that when last did they log in and where are they logging in from. You understand? Those kind of investigation will help you understand that, oh, this person is probably someone that has gone on holiday and has just come back. And of course, you would expect that if this person has forgotten their password, after making those attempts, they would have raised a ticket to IT to to say, please, I forgot my password. Can you please help me reset? You know, some are just simple and straightforward. Common sense will tell you. But if anything looks amiss, please, you need to speak up or investigate further. So, and then we have the EDR, which is the endpoint detection and response tool. So this is used for tracking activity on endpoints. On last Saturday, we talked about endpoints. Say endpoints are tools. They are devices. Your computers, your mobile devices are endpoints. So the EDRs are used to track activities on endpoints, and it sends an alert or a signal on any suspicious behavior. All right. And we have the threat intelligence platforms. There are lots of them out there. So they provide like insights, into known threats and adversary tactics. So the MITRE framework will give you something about a known threat and the kind of and the approach or process that has been used. So this is another another tool that you can use, and we also have other threat intelligence platform that helps to prevent, gives you the threat intelligence report, so that all sorts of breaches can be prevented in your organization. So as a SOC analyst, your first task of the day is to review alerts from previous shifts. Even though the guy that did the previous shift has written their own summary of whatever they've seen, of course, when you come in, you will need to review alerts. Okay, so that nothing is missing and you are able to continue from the previous shift. According to 𝐖𝐈𝐓𝐇, they said I read that it said a solid handover ensures continuity and strengthens the incident response process. Okay, you also need to be someone who can work with others, because you can't say, oh, I've logged in, I'm in. My shift is from 7 a.m. Anything that happens before then is not my business. You can't say that. Okay? So this is another, this is something, another question for you. So what skills are essential for each level of a SOC analyst? We answered that for when I spoke about the skills. Now I've spoken about the tools. What skills do you think are essential for each level of a SOC analyst? Now I'm talking about the tool and your role. Anyone? Does anyone want to try? Anyone?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, speak, please.
Oh, thank God. I've been trying to speak up since, but the network, maybe the connection. Yeah, as per the tools, the skills that the players in the SOC analyst needs to have is that person should, like you said, being technical, one, and two, it shouldn't let it should be always alert. It shouldn't let anything slide. When you are taking over a shift, you shouldn't have this mind that, okay, as you just said, that is none of my business, it's not in my shift. So you should put everything into consideration, and you should work as a detective as well. You should always be able to reason deep about an incident, be it
Yep.
previous one or the present one.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That's the one that I said, don't let anything pass you by. Attention to detail, because the tool will have all the components, everything that you think you need to be able to do your job. The SIEM, for example, will have logs. You can look at the log section of the SIEM when we teach you how to use Microsoft Sentinel. You will see how to check the logs. Any unusual login, for example, you come in and you can see unusual login that somebody logins are happening in the midnight. You understand? That is suspicious enough, all right, to investigate and pay attention to. Login attempts happening randomly at midnight. From where? You know, that's the kind of thing that this thing would help you do. Now, let's look at triage. So what this means is when an incident happens, the first step in any incident response is a triage process. You've received an alert, you validate it. Validating means that it is not a false alert. Do you understand? And you prioritize it based on the impact and urgency. And I hope we understand what we mean by impact. The impact is, hey, for example, if you ask yourself the question, what could go wrong? What's the worst that can happen? You know, like people's information being stolen. You understand? What's the impact and what's the urgency? How quick should this be? The urgency. How quick is this something we need to take quick action on, or is this a low priority incident? You know, that's what happens in the triage process. So in fact, you would encounter loads. In fact, sometimes thousands, hundreds of alerts every day. You can imagine. So you must be able to prioritize. Prioritization is key. For example, when you use the MITRE attack framework, it will help you to identify which alert represents the greatest risk. Because MITRE attack is like a repository of all sorts of incidents that could have happened. You understand? And a lot of security analysts, they go in there to have a look and investigate the kind of attack it is, the kind of treatment, you know, that was applied, or the kind of task that was performed to mitigate the attack or to resolve it, you know, all of those informations. So that kind of tool will help you identify and identify the alerts and help you represent and help you to know the one that poses the greatest risk. So if, say for example, if you receive an alert for a phishing attack, and you receive an alert for multiple failed login attempts, you know, you might prioritize the login attempts based on the immediate risk to user accounts. You understand? So there's multiple login attempts. I'm not saying 2, 3, as a multiple login attempts. So there's an immediate risk to a user account compared to a phishing email. But on the other hand, a phishing email can also create a ripple effect and impact in an organization, but it starts with one person that clicks on that phishing email. So, but for user accounts, that one is really an immediate risk. Imagine that the user accounts that we have the multiple attempt on is the admin accounts of the person with the highest administrative permission in the organization. You would want to prioritize that, isn't it? So all of it as well, in all of it, they also look at the risk attached to it. The ISOCA's risk management principles, it say prioritization is based on potential impact, and the threat and the vulnerability that is applied, so that the incident with the highest risk is looked into first. All right, you address the incident with the vulnerability with the highest risk, you look into that first. The threat with the highest risk, you look into that first. The impact with the highest risk, you look into that first. I hope you get what I mean. The potential impact, the threats, and vulnerability, you address the highest risk first. Okay, so I'm going to ask this question. What types of alerts might be the highest priority for an organization? Let's have a think. We are security SOC analysts here. What type of alerts might be the highest priority for an organization?
Severity.
Yeah, what type of alert? Yeah. The severity is the impact, okay, that would come from such alert. So my question is I'm saying if you think about, let me give you an hint. Let's think about an alert that is related to privileged accounts or sensitive data. Anyone?
Hello?
Okay, yeah. Is somebody saying something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the highest priority alerts that one should usually look for is a breach into, or a likely or an attempted breach to a very high level administrative account, or like an executive's account within an organization.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'll just mention, in addition to what you've said, let's say there's a data leakage, for example, large file transfers, like an alert is showing up for large outbound data transfer, especially if it is unusual. I don't know if anyone has tried to send an attachment from your organization's email account to your personal email before. Has anyone tried that before? Has anyone tried that?
No,
You haven't?
not yet.
Transferred what?
A large file.
You're not allowed.
Some organizations don't allow you to even do that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not allowed, so it will allow you.
Okay. I remember an incident that happened, I think it's about 3 years ago to me. I was trying to help apparently my neighbor was looking for work, and I could see that we had an internal adverts. All right. And I just sent a message to her to send her CV to me, and I gave her my company email address. And of course, she attached the CV and sent to me. So when I looked at her CV, I sent it to her at lunchtime, and I just went straight to my desk. So she said she had sent it. So I went straight to my desk to look at her CV. And I said, okay, before I finish my lunch, let me quickly help her with the CV because I felt that, oh, the job that I saw in our organization portal, of course, you could recommend someone, but I felt that she didn't put enough of, I felt she wasn't selling herself enough on the CV that she sent to me. So I updated the CV. I now reattached it and said, because I didn't just want to forward that CV without letting her know what I had done. Do you know that the moment I sent that CV, I sent it back to her that she should review it. I made these changes and all that. You know, my manager just sent me an email. Hello, Pat. That he just got an alert that, of course, they said that kind of alert. The rule they set was that those kind of emails or whatever, any attachment, I think what they did in my organization, any attachment that you are sending outside the network. So my line manager received the email, automated email. They said they can set it up like that. An automated email saying that Patricia has sent a file out. Oh my goodness, you know what? I just quickly copied, I forwarded what I sent to my friend to him. I said, oh, my neighbor was looking for work. I saw this and I just did, I just did that immediately. Because, and for me, I knew why it was the rule that had been set for any sort of data or any sort of data transfer, large file transfer, or file transfer. That's the rules that has been set. And that file was just, it was just like a 4-page CV. You can imagine. Imagine if I'm now sending like a 20-page document, obviously that would raise a flag. It might not even go to my, even if it goes to my line manager will probably get a copy of it and it will go to highest, to the line manager of my line manager, because what am I doing sending a 20-page CV outside the network? Is definitely a company document. Do you understand? So that's one of the things that, and for that organization, because it's an investment, financial services, investment bank, they don't want to lose any data. They don't want anything going out of their network. An attachment for what? You understand? So those kind of alerts might be highest priority for any organization. All right. Another one is lateral movement within the network. This one is like an indication that an attacker has moved from one system to another within the network. So meaning that the attacker he has been able to access a system through an account that has been compromised. So, and by the time this attacker is now start to perpetrate their action, whatever alert that has been set up on the intrusion detection system, and it will signal an active breach. And this one is a critical incident to address. It's called lateral movement within the network. So an attacker is moving from one system to the other. They've gained access, all right, but they are moving from one system to the other. That's called a lateral movement. You know, there are all sorts of attacks that you would want to prioritize, you know, and of course, any suspicious activity which indicates, for example, attempt to access or transfer files or transfer sensitive or confidential information outside, especially, I'm putting this close, so outside the normal business hours. Everybody has closed for work at 5, and somebody is transferring a file at 7 p.m., at 9 p.m. That is suspicious. So you can imagine the kind of rules that would be written. Of course, automated rules can be written to set up these rules can be written to set up automated alerts. I mean, you understand? So all those things all coming together also helps the SOC team to prioritize any sort of incident or potential threat. Okay, yeah. Moving on, let's take a look at investigating alerts like a detective. Of course, I don't know if you are like me, if you read Nancy Drew or Famous Five or Hardy Boys back in the days. How many people read that book here? Who read Nancy Drew here? Hey, who read Famous Five? Who read Secret Seven? Nobody. Ha. What did you people read?
Read it
Or
in
maybe
those
I'm
days.
too old.
That's a long time ago. Secret Seven, Famous Five.
Yeah.
All those ones are very old.
Yeah, but you know, they are detective. What do they read these days? Okay, they are detective. You have to wear the hat of a detective. All right. Once an alert is prioritized, what's the next thing that should happen? An alert has been prioritized. One word. What's the next thing that should happen? Anyone? Investigation.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or if an alert has been
prioritized.
signaled,
Yeah.
the
The
prioritized
next,
alert has been signaled, right?
yeah,
And then, yeah,
you
you need
start
to investigate.
investigation. Yeah. So you think of it like a detective work. Someone has called the police station to report this and this, except for a missing person report that they will say, oh, if it's not up to, is it 3 days or something, 72 hours before they start investigating, but of course, because they feel that if you reported a missing person, probably they've gone to their friend's house or, but sometimes these things, the rules are there for them as policemen, as detectives, but sometimes the circumstances surrounding it will need you to begin investigation immediately. So once an alert has been prioritized, it's time to investigate. So by the time you determine that this alert is actually that there's an actual threat there's an actual threat, of course, after you've prioritize the alert, there's an actual threat. By the time you start to investigate, what would you be looking for? You'll be looking for clues. You'll be looking for key indicators. You'll be gathering data. You gather data from here, from there. You look at maybe a suspicious IP address. You look at, there's an unusual login times or unusual login connection or activity from foreign locators, like I mentioned earlier. And for example, then you start to analyze. And during your investigation, of course, it's okay to speak with team members, collaborate with them. Some team members will have some higher level accesses to quickly do some checks, which you as a SOC analyst level 1, you don't have. All right. Of course, you now start to gather this data. You started to gather this data because the information you extract from this data will help you do an effective investigation. All right. Let's say, for example, somebody logs in at 3 a.m. from a country where you don't have employees located. That would be a red flag, isn't it? You don't have employees in Russia. Why is somebody trying to log in from Russia? Do you understand? So you need to be able to connect the dots. All right. Somebody can attempt to log in at 3 a.m., but the person is an employee of the organization. You know that is possible. So, but this one, it will not raise, it will be one of those alerts that you must start to monitor. Because why is this person works for the organization, why are they doing this at this time? You know, and then this person is not from this organization and they are trying to log in at 3 a.m. from Russia. Sorry, I keep mentioning Russia. So, apologies to any Russian here. They are logging in from Nigeria. They are logging in from Cape Verde. And we don't have any staff there. You understand? So that is what the investigative mind should do. So I think this explanation is simple enough, to kind of give you an overview of, okay, why would I want to investigate an alert? All right. So let's take a look at the core SOC analyst skills. You know that when on the job, you also want to prove yourself as someone that knows what they are doing. You must also make sure that you've done your investigation properly. You've taken evidences to support your investigation. It could be screenshots, it could be screen grabs or results from some queries that you've run. There's a query language that you'd also learn from using Microsoft Sentinel. It's called 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐶. You've done you've run the query based on some of the data you've gathered. So you have the evidence. You must know when to escalate, when to sound the alarm. I'm sure we all know what false alarm means. Not every incident can be resolved at level 1 or level 2. Some can be resolved at level 1 or level 2. And escalation may be necessary. You must know when to escalate and why. When you escalate timely, it ensures that the right and timely intervention from a senior analyst or a threat hunter would happen on time. For good decision-making and incident management, it is key that SOC analysts know when to escalate, when to sound the alarm. In fact, you don't even want to leave your shift and going away from work with a mindset that I think I missed something. You understand? If something looks amiss, make sure you note it. All right? If it needs more investigation, but your shift is over, note it down for the next person that is taking over. At least you've put it out there with your evidence. So if, for example, you identify a ransomware on a system, what do you think you should do? You're a level 1 SOC analyst. You've identified a ransomware on a system. What do you think you should do?
Should report the incidents, and then you should know what other steps that you should take. There might already be policies laid down for such, whether you have to try and get rid of it or go to your higher level to do the right steps.
Okay, good. You should escalate to the next level immediately. We know what a ransomware is? Do we know?
Like the block, complete block on the network or the system. Complete blockage.
Yeah, a situation whereby the attacker demands for a ransom, a particular amount of money for the for your system to be open or for you to have access to your document on the system.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the contribution. So a ransomware, how many people can see me? I put my camera on so that you don't forget when you're talking about a ransomware, because it's a serious one. So a ransomware is an attack. A ransomware attack, like, is a type of malicious software. It is a malware attack where the attacker kind of encrypts the victim's data. So the organization is a victim or their system. It encrypts their systems and locks them out. As in, every single person in that organization they can't log in, or the important people in the organization, they can't log in. It locks them out and starts to demand payment, ransom, before they restore access to their system. You can imagine a very big company doing well, good reputation, and everybody comes in on that day, and then there's a ransomware attack on the organization. The attackers are typically, they're asking for money, and they are giving them a deadline. You can see, imagine how serious that one is. Because if they don't pay the money, the encrypted data will remain inaccessible. It may be deleted, or in some cases, guess what is the worst that the attackers will do?
They will sell it.
Yeah, they'll make it publicly public. Oh my goodness. They will publish it publicly. You can imagine the kind of damage that can do to anyone or any organization. And how do they deliver this ransomware? They can infect the system. It can be delivered through phishing emails. It can be delivered through some file attachments, some malicious attachments, or a website that is compromised, or a software that has been infected. In fact, you have to be careful with that kind of software that you are downloading on your system. Oh, download this free software and all that. Because once you interact with the infected software or attachment, the ransomware installs itself on the victim system. And I think one of the things you must always remember to do before you go to bed at night, please shut down your system. In fact, if you can pull your the plug, shut it down. All right, because they are everywhere. They are everywhere, and you don't know what they are trying to get from you. All right, so you must know when
Excuse me.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, they can also
Okay.
deliver it through flash drives or external
Yes,
drives.
all sorts.
Actually,
Yeah.
some people can just drop a flash drive. We are in a habit of picking something and checking it out.
Please
They
don't
just
do that though.
knock you out. You will not
Yeah.
even have to open it before it destroys your system, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, please. I didn't hear what you said about plugging.
I said
I
log
said
up, shut down your system. Then it was it Wale that spoke, or Maiwa? Or who spoke just now? I can't see the person talking.
Samson that
Okay,
spoke.
Samson. Yeah. So he said that they can actually deliver. Your system can get such malware on your system through flash drives, and it could lead
Yeah,
to
you
a
said
permanent.
something about plugging. That's the one I want to get. You
Oh,
said
I
something
said,
about
be
plugging.
careful about softwares that you're downloading from the public domain all the time. Be careful. you can easily get malwares downloaded into your system through the softwares that you download. Okay, something is going on here. Okay, yeah.
I think probably she's also talking about, maybe you talked about unplugging your system.
Yes, I said that.
Maybe that's what she's trying to
talk about. Yeah. Yes, please. Shut down, and I mean, like, you will log into for the following day. So why leave your system running overnight? And people or the attackers from left, right, and center all over the world are trying to look for a weak system that they can log into and steal your information. You're putting your system at risk. Yeah.
And one thing also, I think why she's wondering why you said maybe you should unplug your system if possible. There's a way you can actually configure. I'm trying to explain something. There's a way you can actually configure a system to start up without somebody being there. Do you get it? If someone had initially had a kind of break into the system, you can set it up so that you can switch on the system through the network, even when you have shut it down. Okay.
So yeah.
We do that with servers and other systems. Once you know that it's something you want to be able to do, you would have set it down. So it's possible. That's why she said you can, if possible, you can unplug your system.
Because if there is no power, yeah,
it's not possible without social engineering, is it?
Well,
if
it's
there's
not
no
about
power
social
on your
engineering.
system,
It's not about social engineering. It is either
the device,
physical connection, or the person has already had a breach into the system. It's not possible without an initial breach, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah. There must have been an initial breach before every other thing is possible. All I'm saying is, let's not put ourselves at the risk in the first place. Okay? Because I know that some of us are fond of just leaving our laptops running or systems running overnight. Do you get? So it's better you know, to reduce the risk. You understand? But for any attack to happen, there must have been an initial breach, which you may not be aware of. Do you get it? All right. Okay, let's move on. Yeah. So we are staying on this screen. Then we have to work with incident response teams. Excuse me. We have to work with incident response team. So there will always be some sort of collaborative effort between SOC analyst and the incident response team. So you would work with incident response teams who are responsible for containing and eradicating threats. That's your responsibility. So a threat has been identified and it has been escalated to them. Somebody needs to take ownership of containing and eradicating such threats. So when still talking about the ransomware attack, for example, let's say there's a ransomware attack and you need to collect the relevant information for the incident response team because they need to manage the whole situation. Probably people in the operations department, they want to log in and they've been locked out. People in the staff in finance, they are locked out. HR are locked, you understand? And of course, someone needs to own that space and manage it. So that's where you see the incident response team, because you've given them enough information and they can quickly put some email together, you know, or of course, they can, for those that will still be able to get emails, you understand? And for those who would not be able to get emails, there must have been a process in place that we communicated to the staff of the organization. Sometimes they would have a representative, somebody in the team who represents the team in case of any incident in the organization. So all those processes are always in place. You need to work with them and ensure that every information that they need, while they are the incident response team, somebody is leading that team, while somebody in that team is speaking to the management of the organization, somebody else in that team as well is also speaking with the staff of the organization through whichever means that they have established, because incident response team don't just start to respond on that day. You understand? They would have a process in place. They always have a process in place for any sort of incident that might occur. So the people that has been delegated as their response representative in each organization would usually be the first to initiate the next line of action so that they can contain the situation and probably eradicate the threat. I think from my understanding, you even as a SOC analyst, your role is very, very key as well. Your role is very key. You can't be an analyst that doesn't pay attention to detail. You don't want to miss out anything, because anything you miss out would be putting the organization at risk. And why did they employ you in the first place? You know, and you must also engage the threat intelligence team as well. The threat intelligence team, let me tell you what they do. Of course, we call them, they stay ahead of attackers. They are the ones looking out for they are looking out for any sort of potential way an attacker would want to attack, want to perpetrate their activities. You stay ahead of, a step ahead of attackers. You are the one who you are able to simulate some attacks and then go beyond simulating attacks. So you're staying ahead of attackers, and you use the information in the threat intelligence domain. There are lots of information sources that you would be able to understand attackers' tactics and techniques. The MITRE framework is an example. So you are able to use those techniques and tactics from this repository of information to understand the tactics, techniques, and procedures. It's called TTPs. Yeah, I remember that. Tactics, techniques, and procedures. And you use that information to defend your own organization accordingly. If, for example, you receive intelligence of course, if you are from where I am originally from, we know some people that they call CID. They belong to the intelligence department. They are looking for information way ahead of criminals. So let's say you receive an intelligence that a specific type of phishing email is circulating. What would you do? You can alert the users or block the associated domains. Because, for example, this incident has happened to one organization a couple of days ago. In fact, a couple of days ago. Let's say, for example, just to keep things simple, happened a couple of days ago, and you received intelligence on the day that it happened. And in your own organization, because you use this particular email service, for example, let's say the report says that a particular email service is being impacted. All right, what do? You alert your own users and you block or you alert them, maybe through an email. Let them know that nobody should click on any email, any strange email, and or block any associated domain, because the intelligence probably would have given you the domain that is sending out that phishing email. So once you alert your users, you're already telling them, please, any email coming from this domain, be careful, do not click on it. You understand? So that is that about it. I'll move on to documentation, report writing. It is essential in cybersecurity. I think from the examples that have been given from handing over and all that. So what happened? What goes into your documentation? It captures what happened, how it was handled. It captures the lessons learned for future incidents, and it is written in simple and clear and understandable English. There's no need to complicate anything, such that they don't need to look for you to understand what you've written, if you understand what I mean. So it's useful to every SOC center, every SOC analyst rather, and for you, your documentation must be clear. It must have all the details that are required, and it will help help the other person who is taking on the shift after you to be able to, do their own post-incident analysis and improve any incident response, of course. And it could be you as well that needs to do a post-incident analysis where somebody has handed over to you, or when you're handing over to someone, make sure you've given them a clear and detailed records of what has happened. Okay? And finally, let's assume you're wrapping up your day and you need to hand off. So hand off or handover. So a good handover is key because you want a smooth transmission, a smooth transition rather between shifts. You want to ensure that the next team knows what has been handled and they know what needs more attention. Your handover should include updates as well on any critical incident. It should include updates on any recent threats that your team or you have identified, and any intelligence updates. You can see how I've outlined them now, because all these details will help the next team or the next person, the next analyst who is taking the handoff from you. It will help them to start off in a good light in their own shift as well. So it also ensures continuity in incident response. Yeah, I must let you know that you are going to be writing reports and documenting them on the program. Yeah, let's go into growing as a SOC analyst. How do you grow? How do you grow? 1 second, please.
Hello.
Hello, apologies for that. Yeah, so how do you grow as a SOC analyst? As a SOC analyst, you have many opportunities to grow. Honestly, you have the opportunity to move into other roles like the incident responder. Everything comes with your willingness as well to grow. You must be willing. What does that mean? I remember James was sharing his experience when he wanted to get into the industry. He said he actually started by volunteering with a charity organization, I think the library, the community library. And when he eventually got into the field out there, even when he went on his shift and on his day off, he would still go into work because he wanted to learn from the other level 2, level 3 SOC analysts. And he said his boss said, you're supposed to have your day off. He said, like he's trading his day off for the opportunity to learn more. So it meaning that on his day off, he is not assigned to what he would regularly do as SOC 1 analyst, but he was using that opportunity to learn from the other guys, and it really helped him to move up quickly, and of course a lot of things happens in the SOC, and you gain a lot of experience. So that for him, it was just an opportunity to grow for that he's seen that was available, because some other organizations would not allow you. But of course, he had a very good team manager who saw that he was hungry for knowledge and also wanted to help him. So they allowed him. So he was learning quickly and growing quickly on the job. So in conclusion, of course, you also want to write your certification exams, because it gives you more knowledge and it validates what you know. Your certification validates what, and I think from our observation so far, unlike some other roles within IT that I've seen, security analysts, they acknowledge your certifications a lot. Yeah, they acknowledge, they usually want to see that, oh, this person is to our employers out there, they are like looking at it like, oh yeah, this person actually takes this profession serious, if you get what I mean. So certifications like your Security Plus, CH, so that CISSP, it opens new paths and helps to advance your career. Of course, you also want to learn, we want to stay within the community where these learnings are taking place all the time. You don't want to be like, oh, now I've gotten this SOC analyst role, that is it. You don't want to sit in that position for a long time. Even if it's your strategy to getting in, you should set the goal for yourself in 3 months' time, in 6 months' time, in 12 months' time, what you want to achieve while you're there. And the same way goes to you if you're a software tester and you don't just want to be in that software testing team, just doing functional testing and not paying attention to anything security or key or looking to improve yourself in that area as well, because security testing is also part of software testing. It's a subset, is a non-functional testing, because you're not testing functionalities. When I mean functionality, you are not testing whether a login button is working. You are not testing whether the search field is bringing up the result. You're actually going beyond and above the functional testing. You understand? You are testing, for example, you are testing the web application firewalls. How do you test that for your organization or for the team that you are? The exposure and everything that you need to do, all of that, you're going to get it on this course. So, key takeaways for today, I'm just going to wrap up. We've looked at the daily responsibilities of a SOC analyst, what they do, they monitor, detect, analyze, they escalate, they work with incident response team, they employ the use of threat intelligence to protect the network. They document for future reference, and they wrap up the day well with detailed and clear reports. All right. So, and we've looked at all of that. Why do we need SOC analysts? They are essential to safeguarding organizations. And it's a rewarding career path for those who are dedicated to cybersecurity. In fact, being a SOC analyst actually shows you as a dedicated professional, because if you ask me, it's where you do the dirty work, where is where you get your hands dirty. Okay. And yeah, I think that's me. I think one question that is coming to my mind right now is what's the most interesting part of a SOC analyst job? If you were in this role with everything we've said, what sounds like very interesting in this role to you? Everybody should have their own responses, I
Detective
think.
parts.
What?
Detective parts.
The detective part, yeah. But I like that. I like the detective part, honestly. Because if you're like me and you've read a lot of detective stories, you would enjoy this role. You can imagine while you discovering a sort of alert that would have caused a very massive havoc in the organization. Imagine you detecting that and helping the organization to avert the impact. You understand? You feel good, you feel part of something beautiful. What else? What do you find interesting in all of this as part of the role of a SOC analyst?
As for me, I can say every bit of this, every bit is very interesting. But to me, you are someone that you look critically into things. You don't see things the way others see it.
Yeah,
So you take your time to go more deeper. So to
yeah,
investigate more and to bring new things and to detect new, to detect more threats and for you to help yourself and to help the organization as well. So every bit is very interesting. Every bit.
interesting. Thank you. Thank you so much. Abimbola, I've not heard your voice in here today. What part do you find interesting? Okay, who else is here? Adebayo. We have two Adebayo Fakos, then Adebayo Victor. We have Florence, we have
I've dropped message
Mayowa.
on the chat.
What did you say?
Yeah, I just dropped a message on the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, everyone, if you don't want to speak, drop your message in the chat. It is a sensitive career that gives more exposure. Yeah, it is a sensitive career. Yeah. And it also helps you even personally to be security conscious. Yeah. Thank you for that. What else? Moses?
Yeah, it is very interesting to be a gatekeeper for your,
Mm-hmm.
you
I
know
like
that
that word.
the entire company relying on you. So you don't
Yeah.
want to mess up with the network. You don't want to slip off. You want to catch the flag.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. Although I'm more of a JRC, so
Okay.
I'm learning more of the SOC analyst, It's okay.
Thank you, Moses, for
Yeah.
that. Thank you for that. Who else wants to speak? Samson?
Oh well, everything about it is nice, and the fact that you're making an impact in an organization, trying to be like the security in between, trying to help to solve issues and make sure that everything works smoothly.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much, everyone. As Adebayo, I can see your response here earlier. You mentioned data breach. Yeah, thank you so much. I can thank you to everyone that has contributed tonight. We have one of your buddies, a mentor on the call, Esther. Esther, please, do you want to share anything with the team here?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thank you, Esther.
Yeah, it's such a great session, Lady Pat, and everyone's contribution. They are all sounding like gurus already. So,
They are this team, this team of security plus certified people.
yeah, so we all have the right attitude, and it's good as we're all coming together to learn and share ideas together, and that's what makes us a stronger team and helping ourselves to just continue on the career path of being a SOC analyst. And yeah, so reach out to me if you need anything, any tip, any information, just reach out to me. Yeah.
Yeah, good. You are in the Telegram group now, right?
Yes, I'm in the Telegram group, Esther Ade. You can just
Okay, yeah.
message me if you have any question. If you want to share anything, we can take a look at it together. And yeah.
All right.